Hi, I'm Khalid Sapi. Today our topic is about COVID-19 pandemic. My part is introduction. So first of all, we need to talk about the economics. Economics is a social science which involves the examination of how people and companies and governments make decisions to use limited resources to meet their demands, their needs. So basically, economics is divided by two types, which is macroeconomics and microeconomics. So we strictly go to macroeconomic, which is examines aggregate economic phenomena such as growth, inflation, and unemployment, providing insight into how entire economic expansion in response to various challenges. So we talk about the COVID-19 crisis because our topic is about COVID pandemic. So the COVID-19 pandemic emerged as a devastating global health crisis, overwhelming hospitals and challenging healthcare systems worldwide. Thus highlighting the urgent need for improved public health strategies. So let's see from where the quit comes. Actually, the origin of COVID-19 was Wuhan, China, in the late of 2019 is discovered. So firstly, like the people they was thinking is just a simple things which is transferring from animal to animals, but later they see that this become transitions from animals to man, and it's become global pandemic, which is discovered by WHO.
Is our main objective in group project. First, to understand the economic shock. Second, to explain how COVID-19 pandemic affect the economic global. And third, to explain the government policy issues.
And hi, my name is Yusma Dana Farisha binti Muhammad Yusuf, metric number 314545. Today, I will continue my presentation with what's happened to Malaysia economy during pandemic COVID-19. First of all, during the pandemic, Malaysia experienced a sharp decline in demand. This happened because consumers reduced their spending due to uncertainty about their income. In addition, the government also closed the border, causing tourism to drop by almost 100%. The aviation, hotel, restaurant, and retail industry suffer a severe fall in demand. When aggregate demand decreased, economic growth will also decline or decrease. Secondly, there was a supply shock. Aggregate supply was disrupted due to factory closure during the MCO. Production process became slowed down, and many factory forced labor shortage because many workers were infected by COVID-19, while others were required to quarantine because they close or suspect case. When the stock of good decrease, it may affect the price of good will increase. Thirdly, there was a global supply chain disruption. COVID-19 did not affect Malaysia only, but the entire world. Major countries such as China, Japan, and United States also shut down their economy. This caused Malaysia to be unable to import raw material from other countries, which eventually led to a decline in Malaysia's export and reduction in foreign investment. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kritika Bharati and my matrix number is 303544. So for today, I would likely talk about the economic impact of the COVID-19 on Malaysia. The pandemic created one of the most significant economic shocks our country has been experiencing. It affected both the demand and supply sides of the economy, leading to a recession in 2020. Firstly, the movement control order or MCO caused a sudden drop in consumer spending. Many people lost their jobs or faced reduced income, which made households more cautious in their spending. Because of the restriction, shopping mall, restaurant, and entertainment outlet show a drastic decline in customers. Tourism also collapsed when international borders were closed. As a result, industries such as airline, hotel, travel agencies suffered several losses. This sharp decline in spending contributed to Malaysia's GDP contraction of 5.6% in 2020. Secondly, the pandemic also disrupted the supply side of the economy. Many factories were forced to shut down or operate at limited capacity due to strict SOPs. This led to delays in operating and production. Since Malaysia relies heavily on the global supply chain, lockdown in other countries caused difficulties in obtaining raw materials, and electronic component industries such as electronics, automotive, and food manufacturing were affected. This disruption not only short production but also increased the cost of certain goods. The third, Malaysia experiences instability in financial market. At the beginning of the pandemic, Bursa Malaysia recorded sharp decline due to investors' panic. The ringgit weakened as foreign investors withdraw their funds. The global oil price crash in early 2020 also reduced government revenue, especially from the petroleum sector. To support household and business, the government introduced several stimulus packages such as pre-housing and pemulih. Although these incentives helped to stabilize the economy, they increased national expenditure and debt level. Despite these challenges, the pandemic also pushed Malaysia towards the rapid digital transformation. More businesses adopted online platforms and e-commerce grew significantly. Remote working and digital learning become a part of daily life, showing the potential of more digital based on economy. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic had a profound impact on Malaysia economy and affecting on the employment, production, and financial market and government finances. While recovery is going, the pandemic has taught us the importance of economic resilience, digital reading, and strong support system to the protect vulnerable groups. Thank you guys for listening to me. The COVID 19 pandemic caused major socio-economic challenges in Malaysia, affecting household, communities, and overall well being. Unemployment and underemployment rose, especially among low income groups, pushing more families into poverty. Income inequality widened as high income earners maintain stable wages while others face financial instability. School closures depend on educational gaps, particularly for the students in rural areas. Social well-being was also affected with increased stress, anxiety, and domestic violence during lockdowns and migrant workers facing higher infection risks. Despite these challenges, community support grew stronger with NGO volunteers and neighbors helping families through donation, food banks, and mental health initiatives, demonstrating the resilience of Malaysian society.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Putri Nur Alia binti Megat Mama Azman and my metric number is 308210, and today I will explaining the government policy and respond during COVID-19 pandemic and focusing on section 5.0. Firstly, in 5.0, the COVID-19 pandemic caused serious economic problem and disruption. Many businesses had to close, employment increased, and consumer spending dropped. Because of this, the government introduced several policies to protect public health and stabilize the economy. Next, fiscal policy. The government increased spending to support households and businesses. For example, they provide cash assistance such as BPN and later BKM to help families to buy basic necessities during the lockdown. The government also funded healthcare, vaccination, and medical equipment. For businesses, especially SMEs, they introduced a wage subsidy, grant, and tax relief to prevent the company from shutting down and workers from losing their jobs. Third is monetary policy. Bank Negara Malaysia reduced overnight policy rate to make loan cheaper. This helped businesses continue to operating when their income dropped. The government also allowed a loan moratorium, which means people could postpone loan repayment for several months. And special finances scams were also introduced to help SME access funding easily. In Section 5.3, the government introduced regulations such as movement control order to control the spread of the virus. While these restrictions slowed down the economy, they were necessary for public safety. Later, the government allowed businesses to reopen with strict SOP like wearing masks, social distancing, and limited capacity. Moving to Section 5.4, the government launched several stimulus packages such as Prihatin, Penjana, Permai, and Pemulih. This package focused on protecting jobs, supporting business with grant and incentive, giving cash assistance, and helping companies adopt digital tools. In Section 5.5, the government also strengthened the social welfare. They introduced unemployment assistance, job matching program, and reskilling courses to help people find new jobs. Food aids program were also provided to support low-income families during lockdown. And lastly, Section 5.6. Overall, the government response was effective in preventing the economy from collapsing. Although there were some challenges like delay and unequal access to aid, the combination of fiscal, monetary, and welfare policy helped the country recover faster. Thank you. That is all for my part.
So, is our conclusion. In conclusion, macroeconomics is the economic that performance in the world economy. It's really important to our main global, which is supply and demand. During the COVID-19 pandemic, our main global being affected because we are being reduced and give a negative economic shock. It will impact to our employees, production, price, manufacturing companies, and act. Next, the government policy will affected in terms fiscal policy, taxes, and act. It's about how the government policy controlling the national income and economic stability in our country. I hope you can understand the economic shock, how the COVID-19 pandemic impact the economic global and the government policy issues. That's all from me. Bye-bye.